All right, hello everyone. We are going to do another Tour 9 video here. And you can see my bag is set up for Sniper, Goliath, Thor's Hammer. And notice my Thor's Hammer might be a level 6, but I just want you to know that I'm going to play it more like a 4 anyway. So the biggest difference, when looking at Thor's Hammer, accuracy is at 64 from level 2 on. So from 2 to 6, you're talking about the exact same. Power, it just kind of increases kind of slowly a little bit. And, same with top spin, back spin, it just kind of gradually comes up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it more like a Thor 4. And at Thor 4, its power is 229. Even at Thor 3, I think it's 220, 221 maybe. So it's still very usable. In fact, if you haven't seen some of my streams, I have quite a few Tour 9 streams, at least 2-3 hours worth, where I actually get through and complete Tour 9 with a Thor 2. So it's a very usable club for this tour. One of the biggest things that I like about it is the accuracy boost over extra mile. So I like keeping the ball in play, and that's kind of what my videos are kind of focused on, is more than anything, putting it in play. And I think that's your best educational method for, succeeding in all the tours, is foremost, keeping it in play, setting yourself up for the shootouts. And then third is kind of focusing on the shootouts. If you guys haven't seen, I have shootouts from Tour 6 on, which covers a lot of the wins. And they're in playlists where you can find individual wins, and almost everything's covered. So what I like to do for this hole is, power means a lot. So you're going to see me crank it up a little bit here. Notice what I'm doing with my top spin. It's about 2 bars, which means that, you could pretty much get away with this with most Thor's hammers. I'm going to crank it up to 3 just because I'm a little worried about my landing zone. And, I'll play, basically I'm looking at that 3rd and 4th ring in between blue and green there as my landing zone. So, you're just trying to kind of find a visual and just kind of, let's see if I can get this to hold. I think it will. Yep, just barely. So that's the main reason that you don't want to crank up the top spin. If it was downwind, I would only use 1 bar. So that's kind of the difference. So you just need to kind of fluctuate between 1 and 3 bars for that drive. You do want to get it long like I just did, but at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice the rough. But even with that being said, there's a chance that I'm going to drive it in the rough, and my opponent is also not going to eagle this hole. So we're probably going to go to shootout at least 60% of the time, 70% with birdies. So if you're able to get the eagle, you're more times than not going to win it outright. And the other 20% or so, you might both equal. So it's going to be, virtually at least 50-50 that birdie will get you, because we don't even know what the second wind is. If the second wind's in the face here, especially on Tour 9, we're not getting there. But just keep in mind that I did put on a Kingmaker because I really need that extra bit of power, plus wind resistance, if necessary. And here's a case where I do kind of need the wind resistance. What I like to do on this wind is I like to rough bounce it here. So I'm going to see if I can do that, which is kind of here is going to be my landing zone. And, notice how I'm into power, +6. That means I'm probably going to play about 10 rings. So I need to get a nice visual of about 10 rings and just try to focus on this spot. There's 5. So I need to go at least 6 or 7 rings into power here, and max is about 11. So you're going to see me come off a couple rings, kind of like that. And let's just see if I can't rough bump this through and get it to the front. Nope, that's too much. So it's not terrible, but it's not ideal either. So one thing I could have done is I could have come off the top spin and I could have played the fairway, but it's a little bit harder into the wind. With that being said, here you can see my opponent has Guardian. He also has a very similar wind. The odds of him being able to get to that last fairway are going to be very hard. It's going to be more of a bounce shot. He's not going to be able to land to that rough without a third bounce kicking it over. So he's going to be much shorter, which means at best he's getting it to a pitch. And with that good ball, it's probably going to push it to the rough as well, possibly bunker. And there's the bunker. And like I said, with this hole, where I put it, not necessarily, the worst place to be. It basically comes down to perfect ball. You will win this if you perfect ball it. So you can see, it's a very short pitch, and you just kind of keep it inside the hole for most wins, unless it was like virtually sideways. And even from time to time, I might lip in a great ball. And there you see. Great ball, still lipped in. So, and you'll see, when you get this hole and you get a win like that, you're going to get the opportunity to, win with eagle a lot of times. Not to mention, my opponent here had guardian, so that can sometimes come in favorably for me, as, this isn't really the tour where guardian's the best club, but it's still manageable. Sniper has a little bit more curl. It has, of course, a little edge on precision. And, when we're talking great balls, say I great ball, my opponent great balls. That was close. It was really close. He almost still got it. So, a little bit of break there. But there you have that hole in a nutshell. You can see, there's going to be several opportunities for us to get eagles on it. More times than not, we're probably going to birdie, at least 50% of the time. You're probably looking at birdie. It's all pretty much based on second wind. We had perfect tee shots. We had opportunities to get up there to the pitch. But even towards the front of that green, that pitch can be very challenging. So be on the lookout for more of my holes that have that, because the way that we play that hole is going to vary entirely on the wind that we get. And I try to play it a little bit more safe than sorry. So like the way that you saw me do that, I left it in a spot where I knew I was going to have an easy out, for example. So that's why you see me kind of going long there. It's better to do what I just did and completely mess up, or, accidentally, great ball it to the left and wind up in the sand, like where my opponent did. It's much more prudent to be long and right by the cup. So, keep that in mind as an additional tip. But like I said, the way that wind is going to entirely change the way that we play that hole. So seeing that with different winds is going to be very valuable. So be on the lookout for more of my posts, and good luck.